I'm Diana McCullum.
I'm Andrew Rodman.
And this is Fan vs. Fan for Flash.
Stab.
Hello, Flash. I need your help.
I know you're gonna do whatever it takes to save me, but don't lose yourself in the process.
Getting rather violent in your young age. We need to steal an alien power source. The Flash, thief. It's my kind of mission.
If we don't use this, Iris is going to die tonight.
Can't believe they turned King Shark into a guard dog.
King Shark. That's adorable.
All right, so on tonight's episode of The Flash, we have Barry trying to get the power source from the Dominators in order to power the speed cannon. To do that, he enlists the help of Captain Cold in order to break into Argus Labs to get the thing to power the speed cannon, and then Iris dies anyway. So that's what happened on tonight's episode. Let's get into it. Let's talk about pros. All right, so pros for tonight's episode. Diana, what did you like?
First of all, This was a great episode. Second of all, let me think. Captain Cold.
Yeah, obviously. I actually, for a second, I was like, I wonder what she's so... I sincerely forgot.
How dare you, sir?
I apologize.
How dare you? He was back. He was better than ever. He was breaking into things. He was snarky snark. And my only con would be that they didn't save his life.
Okay.
He was replaced back into the timeline to just die.
Just die a little bit later.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be like he was going to find out how he dies, decides not to die.
You really think that they wouldn't save that for an episode of Legends of Tomorrow where his team would save his life and bring him back to life to be in his show?
I like this kind of twist.
Okay.
Where like next season they just be like, what happened? He'd be like, other show.
Yeah, on next season on Legends of Tomorrow they're like, what is this about? He's like, don't worry about it.
But like, yeah, I genuinely love Captain Cold.
Right.
So this is no surprise. But yeah, I thought he was great. Snarky, as always.
Yeah.
Him just being a little bit different because of Legends and actually teaching Barry not to kill, which was a weird turnaround.
Yeah, that was kind of a fun little twist, yeah. It was a little weird that Barry was willing to kill, but yeah, it was a fun twist that he was the voice of reason to a certain extent. And he's just a playful character that's great to have around. It's over the top, but in the perfect way. I almost feel like he even had it dialed up a little bit more this episode.
It was his like tone was more cheesy than usual.
He took his character and turned it up to 11, and I kind of liked it that the second like he showed up, he sounded like us doing an impression of him. Like Barry showed up and he was just like, "Hello, Barry." I'm like, "Oh boy, what an episode we are in for."
How do we make fun of him now? He's doing our impression of him.
I don't even know. This is so meta. It's unstoppable.
He like Captain Cold himself.
Very much like Captain Cold himself. But yeah, it was fun for him to be in this episode, and I'm going to say one of my pros is just the general heist of it all. It's really fun. I love a good heist. I love a good heist.
I also love a good heist. It was such a genuine reason to need Captain Cold.
Yes.
It wasn't just like, we need a ratings boost, get Willis Miller. It was like really genuine, no powers in the building, had to get a thief.
Right.
And also like that added little like, maybe we need a murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really great stuff. I love a good heist. And just because like we're still in pros, all this Iris stuff was really emotional.
The Iris stuff was really good. Well, like one of my big pros is just the whole beginning and ending parallel. Like that was really strong.
Great bookends.
Great bookends. They set up a premise and paid it off, which it's a very simple thing, but it's something the show doesn't do very often to be like, let's seed something and then let it grow later. They set it up and they paid it off. And also too, it was slightly unexpected. Like I knew it was going to be a loving, emotional video that she was leaving for Barry. I honestly did not expect her vows. That was something that kind of caught me off guard. I was expecting like I've always loved you, or like a real plain CW love kind of speech. I wasn't expecting vows, so that added a little power.
I wasn't expecting vows either. It was very powerful. I was kind of like for half a second being like, is she gonna be pregnant? Just like for half a second. I didn't think so because that would be too sad.
Right.
But no, the vows were lovely. I think I was gut punched as soon as she started recording though. I mean, it didn't really matter to me.
Like at the beginning of the episode?
Yeah, at the beginning. Like just like making that sneaky message, just like, I know I'm gonna die. I needed to have this video of me saying loving things. Okay. I mean, it would be amazing if it was something like, you never take out the trash, and I'm upset about it. But like, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it.
Just her throwing shade with her final breaths.
but I love you forever, you
Right.
know. It's just next lady you marry. Take out the garbage.
I see what you're see it. The beginning of this episode, at first, it didn't really do much for me. It didn't do much for me until they took the effort to pay it off at the end. At the beginning, I was like, okay, it's a little forced, it's a little ham-handed, but then I sincerely forgot about it, and then the ending, they paid it off. It was well edited. Bookending it with the music as well was really important, which also is another thing that like a lot of episodes of The Flash and a lot of CW shows miss in these opportunities of using music thematically and not just to be a popular culture set piece. To be like, here's a song that everyone knows and likes, and this makes the show popular for a minute. To be like, no, we're going to use this song to match the emotion here, to remind you and help the audience be like, feel that moment again in the future. Just very well done. And also, I know in the next in the finale, they're probably going to find a way to change time and undercut all of this.
Change time,
right? That doesn't seem like this show. Get out of here.
Just because we went to 1892 in this episode, real casual,
and grabbed a time traveler. I even though I think that next episode is going to underwrite everything and Iris will be alive again, I still didn't expect this show to have the guts to actually go through with the death on the first attempt.
I actually totally agree.
And I respect it.
I respect it as well. It was emotional. Even if they save her next episode, which they probably will, I'm not going to feel like it was cheap and cheated.
Yeah.
Because, it's not like it came out of nowhere, but at the same time,
they
I think
paid it
we're
off.
just
They went
feeling
through
what Barry feels. Like, I feel like I've gone through what Barry went through.
Yeah.
Just 8 months of being worried about this woman who is very important to us.
Yeah.
And this episode kind of made her feel the most important ever.
I agree.
Video. Her scene with Joe was really nice.
Yeah, that was the best back and forth that they've had in a long time. And they also kind of wrapped up a lot of complaints really quickly as well. To be like, why don't we put on another Earth? We did. It didn't work. Why don't we try this? Why don't we try this? Why don't we try this? This was a last minute everything at the wall. They got a lot of criticism and audience voice out of the way, dealt with it well, had some of the best relationship between father daughter. Yeah, just everything was, and then they paid it off. They did what they said they were going to do, which I did not expect.
And now we're going into a finale, and I have no idea how we're going to beat Savitar.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was everything we have for the pros, but what do we have going on in the chat right now? Well,
people in the chat are loving the interaction between Cold and Barry. It's just so refreshing to see everybody.
People in the chat loving Cold and Barry. Of course they are. Of course they are.
Love a good Cold Barry.
I love a good Cold Barry.
No, they do have a nice dynamic. Anything that makes Barry lighthearted is always so good. Because Barry can be oddly somber for a hilarious character. He's always funny on crossovers. But on his own show, he gets very dark and sad. So just having that little extra light. Captain Cold probably shouldn't be the light in this scenario, but he's funny and he's great.
Well, you almost need a character that's lived a darker life to kind of bring out some of the joy that Barry has hidden within himself. Whereas left in a vacuum, he does become sad and somber and depressed.
As we've seen, future Barry.
Yeah, with his emo Spider-Man 3 haircut. But yeah, you add a darker character around him, and then that lighter side of him comes out. It's a contrast play, and it is always nice to see.
We should probably leave this for the end, but people are really wondering how they're going to reverse this. How do you guys think they're going to?
Ooh, okay. Yeah, people are wondering how. People in the chat are wondering how we're going to reverse this. Let's get to that at the end. What do you say to that?
We'll save it, and I will think about it.
We'll think about it, and I think I have some ideas, but we'll duck back to that at the end of the video. For now, let's move on. Let's go to cons. All right, so cons for tonight's episode. Diana, what didn't you like?
I don't have a whole lot. I really thought this was a very solid episode.
Excellent.
I think the only thing I probably just didn't really love was HR being super upset that he gave away the thing to other Barry, which only really bothers me because you're my least favorite Wells ever. So I don't like that we got to meet good Wells on Earth too, and then shitty Wells
had an emotional moment with this HR.
I'm I really hope he kind of dies and we get Earth 2 Wells back. I don't like this HR.
I don't mind him. I like him. I think he's got good comedic beats. I think his back and forth with Tracy is one of the most believable romances on the show. There are strengths to this HR, and I don't dislike him as much as you do. But I will say that was a weird scene for me for different reasons, just because it felt like a very awkward and forced time for him to have an existential crisis when we're at the 5-minute window to Barry's fiance being murdered. It felt like a weird time for him to be like, oh, what's my value? We're kind of dealing with some stuff right now. butt, and also for Cisco just to even like placate that conversation.
It felt like everyone else had much bigger beats to explore. Like Cisco and Caitlyn as a thing was not touched on at all, which is like a big beat of the season. Yeah. Her going evil. Yeah. And I feel like Wally needed a bigger beat of caring about his sister dying throughout the episode. For sure. He only really cared once he got beat up. Like I don't even think he had a scene with her until then.
I don't think he did. He was kind of around when Joe when they came through the portal to Earth 2. He was in the room, but they didn't have any beats together. No.
So she's died without saying goodbye to her brother, but she said goodbye to Barry and Joe. Yeah. Which doesn't seem right. Yeah. So I feel like Wells got attention that could have gone to other storylines.
I agree there, and in that regard, it's also weird that we mentioned while watching it that Julian wasn't in this episode. That especially for, like, I wouldn't even mind that Julian wasn't in this episode because he didn't have a particularly strong attachment or scenes or any storylines with Iris. But the fact that they found time this episode to have a B storyline with Caitlyn as Killer Frost and her animosity with Cisco, and Cisco having to face the reality of having to fight her at some point, that felt like a storyline where Julian should have been there. All the other stuff, it didn't really feel like Julian was missing. But then as soon as Cisco started talking about Caitlyn, I was like, why isn't Julian here? It really feels like he should be here.
I totally agree. The fact that there was any Caitlyn and no Julian wasn't right. Like, Cisco and Julian should have had a moment before he goes to fight Caitlyn. Like, that's been the through line of this season. Yeah. So yeah, that's really all my cons. I really like this episode.
I really liked it too. I will have one other con which kind of bothered me, which is the fact that the heist didn't work. That really bothered me, that the whole episode was the heist.
Oh, yeah.
And then it just ends with Barry and Captain Cole turning around and being like, we did it. Oh, we didn't. And just sincerely being captured, which kind of, it really makes the whole episode dumb. I didn't want to see my hero and one of his villains, who is now a hero, fail a heist. Like, if someone pitched that episode to me being like, do you want to see two characters you love fail at a fun bank heist? No, I want to see them succeed at it. And then it has such a quick write-off of Lila at Argus being like, I saw that you didn't kill one monster, so this is yours. And that wasn't even her complaint earlier. Like, if her original scene had been her being like, Barry, you become obsessed with saving Iris. We're worried that you're not valuing other life as much as you do, Iris, and like concern for his mental health. But instead, it was just you mess up time and don't really know what you're doing, and it's not safe with you, and other bad people might hear about this, and then wars start. And then at the end, she was like, you didn't kill a guy. Nice.
I think I kind of disagree. I feel like that was all to make Barry still be a hero at the end. He's not just a thief, because having it given to him means he's not a bad guy in this scenario. Right. And also, Lila was more impressed that he went back for Cold, even though it meant Iris could die, than she was that he didn't kill the shark.
But there are other ways to do that. I really would have loved an end scene where him and Cold succeed, and it cuts to like Lila watching them on a security camera, like smiling and nodding, like she's letting them get away with it.
No, I don't like that.
Like, she can't officially endorse that she gave an interspatial power source to a loose time traveler and a criminal. Like, at her job, she can't go into work tomorrow and be like, oh yeah, the greatest power source humanity has ever known. I let a guy take it because he decided not to kill a shark once. And he was with one of the top 5 most wanted criminals. So, like, that is... I much would have preferred her, like, nodding at a monitor to be like, okay.
I don't know. I'm really weird about this odd distinction because I love Lila. Yeah. And I don't like the monitor thing. I like that she was like, well, we're going to have a confrontation about it. I like her too much to like the monitor thing. But I do agree that, like, letting a murderer just leave was weird. Like, Captain Cold is a known murderer. Right. And just letting him walk out.
She's a strong character, and confrontation is fine. Even her confronting her boss and acting like she was never asked about it, or
I feel like she should have just let them leave.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah, I think it was anything. Yeah, that really it felt like way too quick of a wrap up on that, and I don't want to see my heroes fail. I don't want to see the heroes fail.
I feel like they mostly succeeded. Like Captain Cold.
But the mostly succeeding.
Captain Cold did enough. He broke into the thing like he said he would. They cut off King Shark's hand. I don't know why it grew back so fast.
Right.
I didn't know he could do that.
But in a heist job, mostly succeeding is failing. Like, you wouldn't go to see an Ocean's 11 movie, and then in the third act, Clooney's like, whoopsie doodle on a banana peel and falls over, and a security guard catches him.
That's a great movie. What are you talking about?
It's the worst Ocean's movie.
Fantastic.
That's the worst American.
Ocean's 14 has been written.
Oh, okay. What do we got going on in the chat? Well,
people in the chat agreeing, where the hell was Julian? Nobody liked that.
Yeah.
Was there not a did we miss a throwaway line?
I did.
If we talked
if
sometimes.
any of you, so a lot of people in the chat agreeing where the hell was Julian. If you did notice a throwaway line or an explanation in this episode, please bring it up in the chat. Or maybe even at the end of the last episode, if Julian was like, I need to go away on a conference for 2 weeks.
On a conference, my girlfriend just turned evil.
They do that sometimes on Arrow.
Iris
where they
is
have,
going to die in 23 hours.
For
He's not
sure.
going to a conference.
He don't know Iris, but you know what I mean.
Knows Iris.
You know what I mean. They've done that on Arrow, though, where like Thea suddenly is like, yeah, sure, someone's trying to kill Felicity. By the way, I do have a ticket booked for a vacation.
It was really hard to get this hotel.
So,
I got a really good deal.
If we missed like a one-line explanation, please mention in the chat. But yeah, we have no idea what's going on there. What else we got going on? What?
Not so much a con, but people are generally pretty bummed that Iris died, and Billy Bob is asking that you guys take a moment of silence for her.
No.
Billy Bob would like us. Billy Bob would like us to take a moment of silence for Iris.
I honestly kind of hope that the character. I know it won't be. I kind of hope that the character's just dead. I never liked Iris. It's awkward that Barry is trying to marry his sister. In the last episode, when Barry had amnesia, Wally flat out said to Barry, "I am your brother." Well, then what does that make Iris? If Wally is the whole thing, like Iris has to go. Iris has to go.
I oddly enough am kind of okay if she lives at this point. Iris has been growing on me this episode mostly.
Iris has only been growing on me because they've been
season.
building to a good goodbye. This is a strong goodbye. Once they unwrite this, and if it's just like Iris being like, let's go to Jitters, coffee, you're not my brother. Like, if it just goes right back to that, I feel like all of the same problems are still there with her character. It has been a better character lately because they've been building to a good goodbye. And I will say, even in this episode, I'm like, that was a good goodbye. I enjoyed that goodbye. That was emotional. That felt strong. I want it to be done now. Sorry, Billy Bob.
I don't think that's a good goodbye to me.
No?
No, because like she's still just dying for man angst. If you want to say good goodbye to her character, she needed to be more proactive in her own storyline.
That's what you're saying there.
That would be a better goodbye to me. She can't just take a video and be like, I was proactive with my own storyline. I made a little video.
She did make a little video, though.
If she'd even done that storyline where she was fighting crime because she couldn't die, if they had gone with that would have been really cool. She hasn't. She did that one story this season. She did a whole story. I think you stop going to work when you have 6 months to live.
I guess.
You're like sabbatical.
For sure.
I would quit my job.
Okay.
Dave Folmsby and others pointing out that they probably should have found a better hiding spot on Earth 2 than like the other side of the gate.
Oh, Folmsby with a great point that they shouldn't have been hiding in front of the gate. Real solid point.
They had an entire planet on Earth 2 that they could have been hiding in. Instead, they were like, this first room you enter.
Yeah.
That's perfect. He'll never find us here.
They also could have went to Earth 3 or and had Jesse help protect them.
Well, I mean, they brought Wally. Oh, but then it'd be Wally and Jesse.
Then it would be Wally and Jesse.
Jesse, the only one who's ever heard Saboteur.
Or then they could go
Just
to
FYI.
whichever Earth Gypsy is on and had Gypsy help protect them. And then jump over to Supergirl. Like, that... Like,
Supergirl would have been the best idea.
Logistically, I understand why you can't have Supergirl. But skip Supergirl, and if there was like an Earth-hopping, let's get everyone Barry has ever helped to help Barry in return, that would be like a real cool conclusion. And if that still doesn't stop Saboteur, that'd be dope.
Well, is this a good time to transition into...
I think this is a great time to transition on over. So that's enough about the cons. Let's switch over, talk about Easter eggs. All right, so Easter eggs in tonight's episode. Diana, what did you find?
All right, so just for fun, if you watched Legends of Tomorrow Season 1, if you're curious where this Captain Cold was from, so he was in Siberia, so this is Captain Cold at the end of Season 1, Episode 5. That was, they broke half the legends out of a Russian gulag. They prison broke! It was great! They broke some guys out of the gulag. Wait, why was it 1892? That episode took place in the 50s. I don't know what episode this is at, actually, now that I say that.
Oh, yeah, that was a 50s episode, wasn't it?
Why were they in
Was it?
1892? Yeah, the Russian Gulag was.
I don't know.
I realized this is wrong now.
All right.
I don't know what episode that was, or if it was just an adventure we never saw.
Maybe it was just a random one-off adventure. But you did make a great point, though, like talking about like Easter eggs or maybe like continuity error that like at some point someone on the Wave Rider when Captain Cold came back should have been like, why are you wearing completely different clothes?
Completely different. He had the
He left in the
blue
classic
parka.
Flash parka and returned in like a casual windbreaker blue jacket that he wears sometimes on Legends. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know what was going on with that year then.
Okay.
So now I'm confused about my own Easter egg. Moving
Okay,
on.
but we do have more confirmable, better Easter eggs in this episode.
Better Easter eggs where I don't realize in the moment it's wrong. So the other Easter eggs are mostly in the Argus rooms. We see all the cells.
Yeah.
So we see a Cupid cell. She is a villain on Arrow.
Yeah.
Just like a lady with Cupid arrows.
Yeah.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Little crossbow.
Barry mentioned Waller's Suicide Squad, which I guess we did have on Arrow as well.
Yeah.
So it's not connected to the DC
Which
movie
I'm actually
universe.
surprised that they were even
I
able
had
to
to say
say. Because before the Suicide Squad movie, they were able to use that term on Arrow. And when the movie came out, I thought there was a legal thing that they were no longer... They started calling them Program X because they weren't legally allowed to call them the Suicide Squad anymore on Arrow.
And they also killed everyone on the Suicide Squad. They killed Waller
Yeah.
on Arrow.
Yeah.
Because the Suicide Squad movie was coming out.
And they were like, you can't have Waller, you can't call it the Suicide Squad. It's now Project X for Argus, and everyone has to die. So I'm really kind of caught off guard that they were even able to say Suicide Squad in this episode.
I was also surprised. And then the last door said Cheetah, who we have never met. She's a Wonder Woman villain.
She is a Wonder Woman villain.
So there's been 4 Cheetahs. 2 of them are just ladies in costumes, and
Yeah.
2 of them have powers.
Oh.
Don't know what Cheetah's behind that door. Just said Cheetah.
Okay.
I don't know if we'll meet that Cheetah. I don't know if that was a little Wonder Woman promo, because her movie comes out in 3 weeks.
I wonder what's going to be going on there.
There's never been a Wonder Woman hint ever
Right.
on these shows.
That would have been a great moment just for like that little like bottom of the TV screen slide up to be like Wonder Woman in theaters next weekend. You know what I mean?
That would have been great.
That
We
would have
didn't
been all
get
right.
that. If you guys got that on your TVs.
I mean, take a screen cap.
Dope.
Let us know. But yeah, Cheetah is a Wonder Woman villain and is in the Argus facility.
In the Argus facility. She could break out.
Yeah.
And we got an extra King Shark hand.
Yeah.
If we need it.
And there's an extra King Shark hand going on.
That was about it for my Easter eggs. Everything
Okay.
else I think we all knew about.
Yeah.
Bazookas.
But Cheetah was a
Killer
big
Frost.
one.
Cheetah was a
kind
big
of
one. That's
Cheetah
a
was a
big
big
villain.
one, and Suicide Squad was just one that I just can't legally wrap my head around.
I was also surprised.
Can't wrap my head around it.
But
Yeah.
Cheetah's the weirdest one. She's like Wonder Woman's main villain.
Main villain, yeah.
And she's just sitting in the Argus prison.
But now that being said, I don't think like the main villain for the movie has been fully identified yet
Well,
either. So I'm like, is this going to be a nod or yeah? Rough. Yeah. What do we got going on in the chat?
People curious about the last line Snart had, the no strings on me, the reference that was made there.
Yeah, so a lot of people in the chat asking about the "no strings on me" reference that Captain Cold made, which is not an Avengers: Age of Ultron reference or a Pinocchio reference.
No, that is the last thing he says before he dies on Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So now that I've figured out that this timeline's wrong, maybe he's about to go die.
Maybe.
Because I thought he was only in episode 5 and he doesn't die till episode 13.
Okay.
But if he's closer to his death, then maybe he already knows about all this Time Master stuff.
But it's also a
which kills him
phrase
on
that
Legends.
does not make any sense out of context.
Yeah.
Like in the show
No one just
Legends,
says that.
he says it because there's a group of people who are like, we've been manipulating your life, and he's like, you can't manipulate me. So he says, there are no strings on me. In that sense, it is a perfect metaphor. You don't get to control me. There are no strings. But when you're just alone in a field thinking about life, that doesn't mean anything.
When you have just done what your friend Barry asked you to do.
When you just...
He's not like a guy who's like, no, screw you, Barry, I won't do it. He just did exactly what someone asked him to do.
You don't get to fail a heist and then just drop random metaphors in a field.
Like you're a big, crazy winner.
That doesn't make any sense at all. But yeah, that's where the no strings on me thing comes from. Yeah.
And Daryl Vega, curious about
Daryl
HR.
Vega?
He took a glance at a glass box. Did you guys catch that?
Oh,
yeah.
I did catch that.
Yeah, so Daryl Vega is wondering what HR was looking at in that glass box, and that was the piece of Savitar that Jesse broke off.
Because Jesse's
stabbed Savitar with.
Jesse's the best Flash.
She is the best Flash. She damaged Savitar and stabbed him, and then was like, "Going to Earth 3, bye." And the rest of the team is like, "Let's not ask Jesse for help because we're idiots."
But yeah, that's the only thing that can hurt Savitar so far.
Yeah, the only thing that can hurt or that can break through the armor. Anyway, I'm assuming once future Face Barry steps out of the armor, anything can get him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the piece of Savitar's little Baraka Claw. That
Claw.
Yeah, a little Mortal Kombat reference there for certain people. So yeah, that's what that is.
Dave Folmsby backing up the producer's theory that Snart learned he dies, and that's why he said it.
Okay,
I like this because I was so mad.
So Folmsby is saying that it's a theory that production is confirmed.
No, that Snart has learned that he dies.
Snart has learned that he has died and knows the story behind it and is figuring it out and going to unwrite time.
Mm-hmm. I actually thought that's what they were going to do in this. He was going to find out he died and then decide not to go die.
Okay.
So I like that. I could explain how he comes back later because they gotta. This is weird how they keep bringing him back in super weird ways.
Very awkward.
All through this season of The Flash
Awkward
and
time
this season
travel
of
ways.
Legends.
Yeah. So I think before we move on, we need to talk about how we think they are going to unwrite time and bring Iris back.
Yeah.
So that was the question that came up in the chat at the beginning of Fan v Fan. So do you have any ideas? How do you think that they're going to bring Iris back? Because obviously this isn't the end of Iris. We know what show we're watching. This isn't going to be the final moment for her.
I mean, I feel like it could be like an Eddie sacrifice play where Barry kills himself and then Savitar never exists.
Okay.
But like then Barry can't.
I honestly think that future Sad Barry is going to be unsad, and Caitlin is going to do something. It's going to be predominantly Killer Frost focused. She is going to talk Sad Barry into understanding the meaning of friendship or something like that.
No, I think she's going to get uneviled, and she knows how to break the suit now because she saw him fixing it.
That might make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or Killer Cole is going to save the whole day. You know what I mean? There are no strings on me. Well, everybody, thank you so much for participating in the live chat. We appreciate it so much that you're hopping in, giving us your opinions. We love hearing from you guys. Thank you so much. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to Dork Shelf below. Subscribe to Dork Shelf on YouTube, and tune in next week because it's going to be the finale of The Flash, and we have more Fan v Fan action for you.
It will be here, and make sure you follow Dork Shelf on Twitter at Dork Shelf. You get all of our cool live tweets while we watch The Flash every week.
Yes, indeed.
And we'll be back for the finale. I'm Diana McCollum.
I'm Andrew Rodney, and you can hear more of us at FromSuperheroes.com. Thank you very much for watching. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Kicked him out.